That's why it's all always garbage, you know. So there you go.
There you go.
Great place to start. But you have to think that like every single freaking person and their mother is talking about this. But yeah, I didn't even, full disclosure, before we even talk about this, I didn't even watch it. I don't give a shit. People say, "Oh my God, you didn't watch it? How could you know?" I don't give a shit. Whatever. I know what happened. Who cares? You know, like whatever. But you did watch it, right? You did watch this thing between Zelensky and
I did. Yep. Watched the
Trump.
whole 47-minute, whatever it was, little interaction.
So, you know, just to open it up, hey, is Trump a Russian asset? You know, I don't think anyone here's, well, I'll answer for myself. I'll still say no, but by golly, like, I need to have people feed me the argument that he's not at this point, because it's challenging to watch such obvious displays of like lying for a negative Ukraine view. It's tough. So
yeah, he's doing a lot of things that a Russian asset would do, which is what makes it tough. You know.
right.
I don't.
This is why I feel so
don't,
stupid, man. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, ultimately, I don't think he's a Russian asset. I think he's just dumb. I don't think he knows what he's doing. But
pro-dictator instead of Russian asset, maybe. Does that feel more right? Maybe that feels more right.
He's like so fucking concerned with these minerals, which is so weird to me. I don't know who's got his ear about the minerals, but
well, and just as we started chatting away, I saw some article that says the deal's still on in some way from Zelensky for minerals, which just hard to see him have to bite the bullet so much, and you know what I mean, you know. But sometimes survival in this world, anybody tells you it's all gumdrops and rainbows, let me tell you they're wrong. So sometimes you got to bite the bullet, and we'll see what happens. Choppy waters, Trump sucks. We'll see what happens. You know?
Well, it is interesting too because literally the next day, Zelensky goes to Europe, and there's this big meeting, this big coalition where they're basically like, all right, well, what do we do from here? Which is, to me, a very strong response from what should be our allies, because they're trying to basically signal, like, we will go ahead without you. We don't need you at the table. We could try and figure this out if that's the route you want to go.
Yeah, I saw that. It's kind of crazy, because UK said they would put boots on the ground, which is pretty next level.
So did France.
Oh, did they?
I believe France also.
There you go.
So it's just
good old Joey Senile B tiptoed around saying, never said that in his time in office. Not that Trump would say it, but I'm just like, that's a pretty interesting level of, but you know, based on what's happened, you just feel like.
I just think Trump's incompetent. I think he's just incompetent. I think he truly is as well. Like, because it was funny. The meeting seems to be going fine until like Zelensky and Vance had a little bit of a back and forth, and then it all just went to the side at that point. It feels like Trump is just like, he just fucking licks his finger and puts it in the air, and whatever way the wind's blowing, that's the way he's going to work for the next, few moments of his life.
He wants to get caught being the bad guy in any situation, in any way. Which he's been the bad guy in a lot of things he's done in his life, but not like broadcasted, right? So anything that's going to be some sort of big event. He doesn't want to look like the bad guy. So it sounds like, and it makes sense to me based on how these men are, J.D. Vance started a little something, and then Trump was like, okay, I'll run with it now because I'm a little bitch and I wasn't going to, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get, by the way, we're going to get put in jail for some of the stuff we say eventually.
Stop.
During this president's term, but.
Stop. Well, listen, that's why we stay anonymous, you know?
True.
I'm like behind 4 layers of VPNs right now,
and I continue to snip out mistakes. But listen, this show has TDS, but whatever.
Absolutely. Some would say justified TDS, let's do. Which there you go.
Let's do the most charitable argument for the people that will absolutely call us having TDS. The most justifiable argument is that, like, okay, let's not send Ukraine support and money. because we're running a deficit, and why are we sending out? We're not sending out money, by the way. That's not what's happening. It's value of like weapon support, blah blah blah, stuff like that. Not sending out money. When you see just numbers, it's not all just like airplane loads of cash on pallets. It's not how this works.
Right.
It's not. But even the most charitable argument is like, don't send them this, but that's still not pro-Russian. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Some folks post-Cold War, we thought we were teammates, but clearly post-Cold War, you're pro-Russian. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. You can be anti-send Ukraine value in any way and still be like, yeah, Russia's bad. But it doesn't feel like those two things are married in such a strong way. Again, I have internet brain, so take it for what it is. But yeah.
Yeah. It's still not as pro-Russia as Trump seems to inexplicably be.
Because again, the most and I just went on a ramble because I'm a cockbag, but the most charitable argument again shouldn't make you pro-Russian. But then there,
I got you.
Pro-Russian things that are being done. Yeah. See,
whereas Trump seems to be pro-Russian. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Well, it's yeah. And it seems like Trump just wants a ceasefire signed, which means that Russia keeps all the land that they currently are under control of. Which is obviously Zelensky does not want to do that.
Right.
And then the thing that set off Trump too, which was interesting. So, Trump brings up the idea of a ceasefire in front of all of this media. And Zelensky kind of shoots it down because he said we had a ceasefire with Russia in
many times before
2014 and 2019, and they just went ahead and did what they wanted anyways. Like they took Crimea back in 2014, I think. Like they are just creeping. And Trump's like, not with me. They won't go back on a ceasefire with me. And Zelensky's point was, I mean, they still were occupying Crimea while you were president. It's not like Russia.
Right, he's an idiot. He just
Trump's
says things,
the United States president. Let's, we have an immense amount of respect for him. We'll just clear out. No, none of that happened. They were still being occupied.
Right. There was a soft war going on during his presidency about this, and he did nothing. So he just says things because he's an asshole and he lies. Right, there you go.
Well, not that he did nothing. He did give Ukraine a lot of equipment.
I'm sure he did. I just meant like he didn't. He says like, oh, they won't take stuff on my watch. It's like what they've, and even this time, it's in the same vein. This time, if you just let them take land, it's like, okay, I just feel like there's a lot of us that don't remember that like obviously you would go to school and you would go to class and you had class every day. But there was like a whole chapter and subject inside of World War II on just the word appeasement. And a lot of people out there don't fucking understand that, like, it's not a thing that's going to stop someone from continuing to be an asshole. And so, like, you want to play the appeasement game, then you're Neville Chamberlain? No. Is that right? Who's the asshole?
I think you're right.
And then Winston Churchill's the guy who was like, nah, let's do this thing. There you go. Neville Chamberlain.
I think you're right.
So it's so hard because you could literally open a history textbook and there's 18 chapters just on that word. And then you see these things happen and you're just like, it's hard to like square that in my mind that someone could just brazenly just let appeasement happen. But it's tough. Yeah. As always, it's tough.
But again, I think Trump's just acting like selfish here. I don't know that he's
he always does.
Pro-Russia. It's pretty crazy how hard he's fumbling the bag, though.
Any long-term damage you think from this stuff as it pertains to us in countries abroad? I can't.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's hard to put into words, but yeah, of course, I would say, of course, as well. But it's hard to put into words what that would be.
Well, again, not to bring, but this weekend, literally the day after, all of these European leaders were ready to go to meet with Zelensky without the United States.
Right.
That was clearly arranged and set to go if Friday went poorly, which it did. This is just signaling us losing our influence as a leader in the world because Trump's a fucking moron.
Yeah, I saw, and dude, take this with a truckload of salt. I mean, you know what, just a universe load of salt. But I did see today that there was some quote from the Speaker of the House, Johnson, who was like, hey, like, Russia's bad. Like, it wasn't like a rebuke of Trump. He didn't say, Trump, you're wrong. Nobody would ever say that if they were the red team. But something along those lines of, like, so I'm just like, all right, is this where he does die? Like, on this stupid hill with Russia? Like, I don't think so. But there definitely is some, like you said, Europe closing us out now instantly. And then that's just going to piss him off more. If you know me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like, I just met with Macron and I just met with that Starmer guy and they were nice people.
And they turn around.
Yeah, there you go. Your impression's better, but you get it. You get it.
Yeah, it just worries me it does feel like the hierarchy of the world is shifting, and it's shifting in a way that favors more European leadership, but also more like Chinese, Russian leadership, which it just feels like the U.S. is we're just boxing ourselves off into a little corner and talking about how great we are. It's fucking baffling.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I don't know if we can repair that, or that's going to be a mountain. It's a mountain of work to repair.
It's a lot of it's a mountain of work, and it's a lot of nuance that clearly the man's not interested in sifting through. Not that I ever thought he would, but he continues to prove time and time again that he's just not interested in the nuance of the job of like actually maintaining relationships between like nations and understanding in depth the benefit that we get. Just because it's a trade deficit with Canada doesn't mean Canada's just fucking over Americans. Like, that is a baby ass way of looking at it. Like, that's just baby brain. No wrinkles at all. That's literally how stupid that is. So we just have a man just not looking in depth in anything and just saying, you know, it's yeah. So.
Well, to me, that kind of like all he wanted to do was score a political win, secure some Ukrainian mineral rights, and sign a ceasefire. But like, obviously, it's more complicated than that, and he's not interested in doing that work. Yeah. Same with Elon Musk and his firing of all probationary.
Too hard for them.
Like, they don't want to do the work. They just want to sort of play the game.
Too hard for them. Good entry point into the next thing, where it's like,
sure.
We all of us have seen. I'm sure all of us have seen plenty of people who might have voted for Trump but then lost their jobs or whatever. So again, just kind of like a bull in a china shop. Not thinking about the nuance of how to fire agencies in any way. I think back in Clinton's day, he made a vow when he got elected to shrink the government, but he did it over like 6 years or something, 5-6 years, something like that. I'd have to look it up. But he did it with like a comb, not a fine tooth, and it didn't take forever, but he did it with a comb, and there was actual like work done. And by the way, it was the last time we had a positive budget, right? Surplus in a year.
Surplus.
But
in the budget, yeah.
Yeah, like why I don't understand. Like, I think I wrote here, if you actually in good faith, right, cut the trillions that Elon campaigned on and to this day still says that they're trying to cut, why, if you're doing it in good faith, why wouldn't you start with the biggest areas of the budget? Like, why wouldn't you start with defense? Like, it makes no sense.
Correct.
And then it makes you feel like it's in bad faith and it's in service of something that isn't trying to save money.
Right.
Which sucks, bro.
Or they could be scared of pulling, looking behind that curtain a little bit.
Whatever, dude. Whatever it is, like, it doesn't look good. It's worse that there's multiple ways it doesn't look good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That makes it worse.
Yeah.
Makes it worse, bro. So, and then again, another thing that boggles the mind. It's like Trump is 2025. Trump is way different than 2016 Trump because he's doing things that blatantly will make him lose political capital quickly. Like, you've seen these town halls. I wonder what you think, if it's actual real revolt that could hurt in the polls, whether they let us vote legally, everyone, in 26 or whatever the fuck they do. So, like, I just don't understand how, like, I can't believe he just lost his touch to let someone just, like, he used to, like, I feel like he did used to be a populist in the way that, like, he thought you could still have everyone keep the jobs they have, but somehow make things better. You know, that's like the false sell. But he understood at least not to just like completely kneecap the system because it's going to catch a bunch of MAGA voters, right, or Trump voters. And he's just letting him do it. It's crazy. And again, if you reflect on 2016, Donald Trump, you're just kind of just like, this is pretty different. Pretty different. We got
very different.
A little bit more time of it left. So
this is why I'm not convinced he's going to try and run for a third term. I'm just not convinced. I think he got what he wanted and missed jail, and he gets to just walk off into the fucking sunset after
he just hands it over to the
infrastructure.
He just hands it over to the Project 25 people and Elon Musk, and he's like, "Go ahead, I don't give a fuck." Like, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think, you know, we talk about accelerationism because we're good communists here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're a big fan of. If you're not a huge fan of Democrats, but you do that from the left of Democrats, then, you know, the accelerationism can be something that could change things fundamentally for the better, but hurt a lot of people in the meantime. Let's be clear about that.
Yep.
But and another thing that makes you know that firing that's also catching MAGAs are just, like, shitty is because they don't set up any system to like try to assist, like finding a job. Like you would think if you do it with some sort of like, hey, let's try to work through this. We'll do this. We'll do this. You know, give you X amount of time to search for a job. As long as you're searching, you can have a longer amount of time than otherwise, and we'll try to hook you up with, you know, fucking, I don't know, seminars and whatever, dude. But they do absolutely nothing, and so cruelty is the point. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know that cruelty is the point. I mean, that's a little...
That's harsh. That's true.
But it is not great. That's for sure. Again, I really want to place what Musk's end game is. Like, what's his fucking angle, do you think? Doing all this. Do you think he thinks he's actually helping? Or do you think he's just kind of using this backdoor access as a means of taking retribution against some...
It's hard to tell, but I think most people like Trump and Musk have totally complete yes men around them that they pay. And they live in an insulated world that leads them to believe to some degree that that they're doing the right thing and doing good things. Some people I think are just assholes and evil. But, like, rarely do you just get, like, an outright evil person. The Stephen Millers of the world, thank God, are not in a high number. Because, jeez, talk about a man that'll rot in hell. Anyways. So, yeah.
It's just, Joe Rogan did another podcast with Elon Musk recently. It's on my list of things to listen to, but...
I did see that.
Man, the comments are just full of people that are loving it, which is crazy.
No, I mean, look...
This video is 7.5 million views.
When we talk about living in echo chambers, like, a bunch of people like that video, that makes sense, like, on the internet. But you would think that at the ballot box, the things that are happening will not be an asset at the very least. So I hear you, like, people, but it is tough when you see just, like, outright lies and bullshit, and just a bunch of people are just, like, jacking off to it, like, oh my God, I just come to Elon. It's like, oh my Jesus, bro. People are just, if you look at history, let's ask you, let me see what you think of this. Like, why do human beings get stuck in this cycle of, like, worshiping another human being in a way that, like, they, like, try to, like, get, like, or not, that's a bad, poorly used term, but, like, they try to, like, get people to think, like a cult leader, like, but they try to get them to think that they're, like, super genius or better than, like, normal, like, they're just, like, a super person. And, like, why do people believe them time and time again? What do you think? I don't understand. But it's like the oldest scam in the book, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit of it feels like a defense mechanism. Like there must be a piece of somebody's brain that knows that some part of what they're part of is bullshit. So I don't know. Maybe if you outwardly rationalize it to other people, you're kind of justifying it for yourself at the same time. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah. People just get worried about the world and they place all their faith in one person, and then they can just
But
convince themselves that person's incredible.
Yeah, it's bad.
Donald J. Trump.
2028. But that's bad, dude. Like,
It's just crazy how many VA workers have just gotten fucking axed.
yeah, veterans getting fired. It's just a bull in a china shop, bruh.
I didn't realize that.
There's no nuance to it. Like, even, dude, give me the biggest defender of Trump and Musk. It's just like, how do you explain, like, starting at the bottom, seemingly? USAID is, like, what, 2 pennies compared to the fucking gold at Fort Knox in value I'm pretty sure, to, like, the budget. It's like, what are we doing? It's like, you could be upset about that. That's fine. But why would you start with that in good faith? Like, you would try to start with the biggest things. There's no reason. That's just cruel. That's cruel. Like, if you work your way down and you get to USAID and you say, hey, we're going to cut you in half and this is how we're going to do it. It's like, that's fine. Like, I don't even say that's fine because I'm a good communist. So, like, I'd have to be like, I'm still skeptical. But, yeah, like, that's more of a way to, I guess, do things in, like, a humane way, ethical way, whatever. Anytime people hear this, especially on the goddamn internet, this psycho place, they're just gonna be like, oh, this guy's a pussy, this guy has feelings. It's like, that's fine, whatever. But it's true. It's true. And you shouldn't just fucking hack away. Makes it just feel like he's trying to cover up whatever. I guess they said USAID was, like, investigating him. Like, do they investigate? Who the fuck? No, I have no idea. But
yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but it certainly is a weird place to start. Like, you would think Pentagon defense should be the first thing. So I'm looking at it here. So Social Security is 21% of our government spending, which, like, if you want to audit it, then that's fine. If you want to try and, like, root out corruption, fine. But the way they're going about everything, they would just take a hammer to it and be like, oh, look at that, we shaved off $2 billion, $200 billion a year, some bullshit.
Right.
Medicare's second, national defense is third, which is basically tied with Medicare.
You should start with defense. I mean, look, you say fraud in Medicare and Medicaid. That's true, but it's not the people. People always say, oh, there's fraud in Medicare and Medicaid. Oh, it's the people who get the insurance. No, it's not. It's fucking doctors and other places that forge whatever and submit bullshit. It's not. Patients don't just get to, like, submit the fucking. What are you talking about? Like, that makes no sense. Like, how would they scam anything? Oh, they would scam it by using it and going to the doctor. It's like, that's using the insurance. That's not a scam. Anyways, these people.
That's not to say that there's not to say there's zero, but
no,
by large,
but
like 85% of the fraud there is probably businesses forging just treatment.
I'm not gonna put a number on it, but it's way more over there. It's just like with the opioid crisis. It's like, you're gonna blame users. Like, no, if you're gonna be serious about this, you're gonna go after pill mills. You're gonna have to, go after the people who, like, made money, push this shit to make money. Those people are scum. Like, that is where, when people made actual decisions to, like, push things to make money that are addictive, that's terrible. Like, that is a crime. Or, I shouldn't say it like that, because I don't know, like, legally, like, isn't there some big lawsuit against the Sacklers, and hopefully they eat grass, but whatever. Yeah, that's the crime. Like, oh yeah, I knew this shit would get people addicted, and I just fucking would pill milled my community in West Virginia. It's like, wow, you should go to jail. What? Like, that's crazy. Anyways.
Let me ask you this, though, because interestingly enough, the fourth column here was net interest, and I assume that's the interest we pay on our debt.
Yeah.
Now,
probably.
do you think that this is actually an area of concern? I mean, we are
Yeah, but you got to be serious about it.
aggressively in
You
debt.
gotta
Sure.
raise taxes immediately on the haves in
That's for
society.
sure true.
All right,
Yeah.
and then 2, you gotta cut some. That's fine. That's fine. Find me even the biggest, like, because communism's not a thing in America. You absolute botards that believe the weirdest shit you've ever heard in your life. Like, find me the most leftist person in America, and you're just like, well, if we raise taxes on the haves, and we also try to find some waste, they'd be like, let's go. Like, I will take that. Like, we've been starved of things that make sense for so goddamn long. As long as you're gonna make the tax thing make sense, and then give me someone that I can trust to comb through things, then go for it. You know what I'm saying? We don't trust Elon Musk. That's who we don't trust. He can kiss our ass.
Yeah,
But
that's
if
for
you,
sure.
yeah,
That's
if
for sure.
you give us someone that's trustworthy and that you whatever, that's fine. Even someone more conservative leaning, as long as they're not like a dick bag. It's like, all right,
Right.
like, right. But, good luck. I don't. This is where
can't wait
this
till
is
this-
where the long. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah, finish your
This is
thought.
where the long-term prospects of America make me sad because nobody ever wants to tax anybody. And so how do we solve it? We don't. If that's not part of it, we never do. And so what happens and when?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a fucking Federal Reserve Ron Paul Revolution. Who give me goddamn break? Those people have brain disease. But, there's going to be a point that shit does come to a head. Like, who knows? It could be way down the line. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. And the sentiment in America has never been to be for taxes, no matter what, dude. Even in the most left-feeling years, it feels like. So I don't know. So, any thoughts after the communist dropped his rant?
Well, and just the cherry on top of this, all this fucking austerity, quote unquote, is the fact that they're going to, once again, if they pass their tax cuts, this administration is going to increase the most to our debt out of,
Oh yeah, right.
all the presidencies. I mean,
Doesn't
he's
make
the one that
sense.
spent the most last time around. I mean, obviously you could go by percent GDP, and that kind of the numbers move a little bit there. But when you look in the last like 50 years, the people that increase our debt the most, it's not Democrats, and that's just the truth. I mean, I don't really. So all this,
know.
like I was reading in that one article you sent. What was it? Veteran crisis phone line employees. Bunch of them got fired.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
in what world?
Yeah. Oh,
And
it's dumb.
do we think these
Dumb.
people are just collecting a paycheck and doing nothing? In what world should
an
those
article-
people be losing their job?
No worlds. I read an article today where someone in Pennsylvania who voted for him was making $40K a year, doing like part-time 25-hour a week or something work for like being a forest ranger. $40K a year, and she got laid off. It's like, dude, $40K? Oh, great
Right.
savings. And then like you're
Right.
reading this article and like she's upset about it, and like a lot of people would laugh because she voted for Trump, but I can't help but think like, yo, like she's making $40K. You couldn't just. What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Right.
There's a cost benefit to anything. It's a risk reward to anything. It's like $40K, and this lady is like crying about how like she loved the job and like it meant a lot to her.
Yeah.
And, it's just like so stupid, man. So
Right.
give that lady
All
her
that so
job
we
back.
can-
By the way, if anybody ever cared about listening to us, it's like you should say shit. It's like give that lady, you stupid assholes. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I mean, for people working for 40, that she clearly loves her job if she's doing it, and it's 40,000. How what was she working? 25 hours a week? 35
Yeah, I
hours
don't
a
think
week?
she was like full time. I don't fucking know, dude. I'd have to go look it up again. But
Right. But
And
somebody in
also-
that
and
position
also
is there
she,
because
like-
they love
oh,
what
yeah.
they're doing.
right.
There's no world where that person is bad at their job, most likely. You know
No,
what I mean? If I
you-
were to guess.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that love the wilderness, you're gonna get a lot of them that tend to live more minimally anyways. So you don't even have to pay them that much, and they're doing this incredible work, and you're just like, well, we're just gonna fire you.
Right.
It's like, why? I just had my review and it was great, and I've read this 100 times. That's why I'm saying this, but it's like, why? I just had my review and it was great. It's well, you're in your probation period, and so
Yeah.
bye.
Goodbye.
It's like every time they say in the thing, it's like, oh, your performance isn't meeting expectations, and every time I'm reading that they literally had performance reviews that were good, I'm just like, hello, lawyer? Like anywhere, somewhere? I don't. This makes no sense. Like,
Yeah. I mean, they're trying. It's currently playing out in the court system, but like, there's a lot of damage done already.
The thing that's so shitty is like people will listen to this who support Trump and they won't because nobody. But they'll be like, "Oh, TDS, TDS." It's like, but dude, this, like, why isn't there a better approach to this? Like, it never makes sense. It's never, and you can even concede. And I just did to you earlier in this goddamn conversation where it's like, hey, even as a leftist who has my pitchfork, Jesus, sharpened all the time, I'm ready to say like, hey, you're gonna have to raise taxes on the haves and also cut a little bit. Like, I'm fine eating that if it's in good faith and blah blah blah.
Right.
It's still not enough, bro. Still not enough. Nope. TDS, bro. TDS. It's like, that's fine. But
I really
because I
need
do
to
have
emphasize
TDS.
the fact that we're cutting people who are veteran phone line crisis employees.
It doesn't matter. They don't care. TDS.
So that at
TDS.
the end of the day, we can still have a larger deficit when we pass tax cuts for exclusively the wealthiest in this country.
Time out.
In what world is that justifiable?
Time out. TDS.
They're not gonna.
Nope. TDS.
I just don't understand.
I know, dude. It's tough.
I don't understand.
It's tough.
The deficit better.
Like
we better not incur a single extra dollar in our fucking debt by the end of this year. Then, if we're gonna do all this shit, but we know that's not gonna happen.
Of course, it's already taken.
We know that's not gonna happen.
Right.
We're gonna increase the deficit to a greater degree. You know, Biden spent less, I'm pretty sure, in 2 years of his fucking presidency than Trump did in his last year. And again, that was COVID. But like,
but Biden also, his first year was also COVID, where he spent,
That's true, and they had to spend a lot of money. It did come down.
And look, let's
Trump
be
spent
clear. We also
almost
have
$5 trillion in 2020.
We also have
he spent almost $5 trillion.
We also have BDS here, which is BDS an actual like boy band? But anyways, we have Biden derangement syndrome here too, like where I don't care for Biden. But he did lower the deficits like from the super peaks.
Yep, he did.
Do we think if Trump won in 2020, it wouldn't have come down because COVID? No, it probably still would have. But you just keep cutting taxes. It's not gonna number doesn't go up. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Got to make some hard decisions on taxing haves. And you got to start to even pay off this debt. What, you got to start a trend in the right direction for decades? I mean,
decades, absolutely.
Yeah, you have to start making better fiscal decisions now and do that for decades. So anyways, if your net worth is over $999 million, we are coming for you. We will find you.
I think Bernie was the first one I heard talk about any money over $999 million, you will get taxed 100% on.
And I will tell on you to Bernie Sanders. Thank you.
It's just crazy. It's just you see people who shouldn't be getting fired so that we're still going to have a deficit. And it's probably going to be worse than last year. It's just fucking... I just can't square that circle. I can't wait to listen to this fucking JRE Elon Musk podcast because it's just going to be...
You listen to that?
Absolutely.
Sure.
For sure.
It's too hard for me, man. Sometimes it's like... Well, you do a better job of this than me. It seems like we both do enjoy reading things that we disagree with. Like, that is excellent. And consuming them as well. Like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
But there is a certain degree that I can only take. Like, I cannot...
Yeah.
Do I listen and read more dissent than support stuff? I do. But there's only a certain degree that I can even take where it's like, I cannot read this garbage right now, or listen to it. I can't. I don't think I could listen to that podcast because it's going to be just... It's you know what? It might even be fine. It might even be they don't even talk too much about the layoffs and stuff, but, people are... There's some real anger, and it's not going to get, like, said in that. No one's going to bring that up. So... But to be fair, like, it could be fine. We're not trying to be haters here. We have TDS and BDS. And CDS and ZDS and whatever, dude. DSs. We're all about it. Derangement syndrome is the name of my game. So.
Yeah. Wow. Sorry, I was just kind of perusing some of these comments again, and it's just bananas to me.
Oh, it's tough. Don't do that to yourself.
CTDS.
Comments on what? Wait, comments on what?
On the Joe Rogan,
the
Elon
Joe
Musk.
Rogan? Okay, because it's on the
So sometimes-
TubeView, right? He puts it all on the TubeView now, I think.
Yep. He's no longer exclusive to Spotify, but I'll set comment
Right.
section to newest just to.
Oh,
just
that's
to get
when
a
it gets
pulse.
real toxic.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I've already seen TDS mentioned. Which you love to see that.
Wait, TDS? Who has TDS?
Well, they comment. TDS is when you would rather burn the country down than see Trump take credit for making it better.
No, that's not true.
There you
though.
go.
That's literally not true.
It's true.
Trump would
because he is making it better.
Trump would make
He
the
is
country
making
better
it
if he
better.
wasn't a cockbag about Ukraine. And yet here we are. He's a cockbag about Ukraine. So there you go. Also, I would think that all these people getting fired would disagree with you. But you know what?
Sure.
What? What's that? What's that smell? You got less than $1 billion? I don't give a fuck about you. About your family. About anything that you ever done. Fuck you. You lost your job? Cry about it, bitch. That's what they think all the time. Remember that. That's literally
Wow.
what plays in their mind over and over again.
Wow.
It's true.
Really leaned into the microphone on that one.
You got less than $1 billion? Then you don't get to talk about minerals. They're my minerals, bitch. There you go.
Let me ask you this: when I do watch, well, I say watch, I'm gonna listen to. I never watch, but when I do listen to this, do you think I will? Do you think a single comment of Joe Rogan's will actually be pressing Elon Musk a little bit, holding his feet to the fire, or do you think
Probably.
it's just
I
gonna
bet.
be?
I bet.
little-
I hope because Joe Rogan is so famous and popular that he has unique leverage that nobody else could even have. I hope that Joe feels more comfortable bringing up even a mild criticism question. Because if Joe Rogan doesn't, we're all fucked. There's no journalist that could ever hold their feet to the... Does that make sense? Where it's like...
Right.
Right. He has all this power. Like, I hope... So I bet you find a couple nuggets in there. Let me know. Let me know what you find.
See. I'll take some notes. Maybe we chat about this next week because just reading this whole like media ecosystem underneath his video is fucking crazy to me.
Dude, we should do the comments section on some toxic thing.
We definitely could. We could just rip through
Or
them.
just go to Trump's True Social. You've mentioned that many times.
Yeah.
You just read That's tough though because it's so bizarre. Like, imagine we were sitting here having a conversation and we're like, hey, let's pull up Trump's True Social, and it's that Gaza post. It's like, what would we even say,
Dude?
Be like, you know what? Let's not do this. Let's stop recording.
I
don't think this is gonna work
can't,
out.
man.
Tough.
I wanted to put my
Tough.
fucking head through a wall after watching that. All right, let's see. I got his True Social pulled up right now. Before we wrap up, let's see what fucking out of pocket shit is in here.
Wait. In all seriousness,
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows you go to Twitter now, you can't do anything but read the tweet. You can't read the comments. You can't do anything because he like limited. Can you just see stuff in here like normal? I'm here.
Sorry, ask again? What did you say? Yeah, you can look at his post.
This is much better than this is much better than
It's
Twitter.
better than Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Twitter doesn't let you do
you
anything.
can't-
You have to have an account. It's like, oh, fuck.
That is correct. Which is so fucking stupid.
Whoa, we're talking about H.R. McMaster? Who cares? Like,
I don't even know who that is.
He was
Who
in
is
his
that?
first. He was in his. His
Oh, I see.
defense secretary in his first term.
Yeah,
No.
I think
The
National Security
national
Advisor.
security chief or top or whatever.
I bet you he made a comment today regarding the whole Zelensky
We
disaster.
should spend less time worrying about Putin and more time worrying about migrant rape gangs, drug lords, murderers, and people from mental institutions entering our country so that we don't end up like Europe. That's such a blatant lie.
See that one.
So in this, listen, and let's be clear about this. And all I did was pull up True Social, and I'm showing this right now. This is how like unhinged this man is, which is kind of scary, but like whatever, let's ride. He is saying in this truth that Russia is better than Europe, right? Tell me I'm wrong. You want me to read it again? Are you seeing this? We should spend less time worrying about Putin and more time worrying about all these bad things that Europe is. It's like, wait.
Right.
What do you
That's
mean?
him. By the way, that's him being butthurt that they all got together without him.
Oh, there it is. You got it. And also H.R. McMaster for some reason. What a loser. Why would you even talk
I
about...
bet you he probably made a comment today about Trump being a dumbass with Zelensky. And Trump his ego cannot let him let it go.
In all caps. Illegal border crossings last month were the lowest ever recorded. And then, thank you.
Thank you.
No, Trump. Thank you, dude. Thank you. All right, anyways. Oh boy, this is fun stuff. All right, let's look away because that's tough.
Wait, what is this?
That's tough.
Impact of Biden LCD.
Oh boy, we're still talking about Biden.
Oh man.
No. Oh no.
9 days after the 24 election, Crooked Joe rammed through a policy that would create more suffering and deaths for diabetic patients on Medicare. The hardest hit, veterans and minorities. Not on my watch. Then candidate Trump tweeted, "People are hurting. Help is on the way." Okay, what is the policy? 431,429 lost limbs because of Biden.
Oh boy.
Just a pile of limbs. Sorry, I was reading this other one, so he retweeted. I guess this is a retweet. But let me just read it real quick. Now Zelensky will have no choice but to back down and accept Trump's terms. But here's the genius part. Trump is actually protecting Ukraine without dragging the U.S. into war. By negotiating a mineral deal, Trump ensures that Americans will be involved in Ukraine's mining industry. This prevents Russia from launching an invasion because attacking Ukraine would mean endangering American lives, something that would force the U.S. to respond. Trump played both sides like a master chess player.
This is mental gymnastics.
Trump played both sides like a master chess player. In the end, Zelensky will have no choice but to concede because without U.S. support, Ukraine cannot win a prolonged war against Russia. Once U.S. companies have mining operations in Ukraine, Putin will be unable to attack without triggering massive international consequences. Don't underestimate Donald Trump. In this game of chess, he's 10 moves ahead of everyone. He tweeted that about himself. It's incredible.
So
he just said he's playing chess and he's... somebody signed... Michael...
Retruth?
Well, that's the weird thing. Like, it just looks like a screenshot that isn't a retruth. He, like, copy-pasted.
Oh, my God.
Michael McCoon. There's a name at the end of this. Michael McCoon. But it's always so funny to me when he, like...
Well, we'll see if the American people, specifically MAGA fans, get absolutely gaslit into being Russian fans. We'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah, only time will tell.
And I keep seeing this bullshit online that it's like, well, listen, liberals, if you like Ukraine so much, go fight for Ukraine. They said, you know what, conservatives, you like Russia so much, go fight for Russia. Go tell me how it goes, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Shut the front door. Anyways, there have been a few American people who actually did volunteer for the brave Ukrainian fight and passed away. So sad. Actually sad. So. Slava Ukraini.
Slava Ukraine.
And that's where we'll end episode 54 of the TDS, Not Us, Couldn't Be Us podcast. Not us, couldn't be us. But
couldn't be us. Can't be us.